The superintendent needs to be fired. The school district, they need a whole new school district. Dr. Wagner needs to be fired.
This morning, classes canceled again at St. Helens High School, and another student-led protest is on the way. Thomas Schultz will join us live in St. Helens with the latest on the sexual abuse charges handed down to a pair of teachers this week. Also coming up, a judge's new ruling that opens Oswego Lake to the public. This morning, we're going to hear from people on both sides of this debate that's been going on in Lake Oswego for more than a decade. Plus,
when I got to text my family text thread and say, I'm in a Hallmark Christmas movie, everyone was like, ah.
Oh yeah, it is that time of the year. That's Angela Kinsey from The Office talking about her brand new Hallmark movie that makes its debut this weekend. It's a little bit of a countdown to the holidays here on Sunrise as our 6 o'clock hour starts right now. Good morning and thanks for joining us on this Friday. I'm Drew Carney. China Green has the morning off, but we do have Chris McGinnis on standby. In fact, we have him right now coming to us live from the Weather Center. What's up, Chris?
Let's take you live to the Oregon coast where the nearly full moon is setting here from Lincoln City. The sky clearing out. That is a sign of things to come, but we're not there yet. No, because we are socked in with fog. This is a live look from our Wells Fargo sky camera. 550 feet over downtown Portland. We are in the thick of it, and so in some cases, there's some pretty dense fog out there. 43 last check at PDX. Visibility right now down to a quarter mile in Hillsborough, Aurora, half-mile visibility in Salem. It's not everywhere, but where the sky has cleared, the fog has really set up shop this morning. So that's the first part of our day. Foggy areas, spotty sprinkles dissipating. Fog lifts, we turn partly sunny this afternoon. One dry day in my 7-day forecast. That is today. Rain returns tomorrow. We'll walk you through that coming up with Futurecast in just a few minutes.
And we start with some good news here on Highway 26. That stalled vehicle we had told you about blocking the eastbound lanes has now cleared, though you can see that fog Chris was talking about is very present there between Welch's and Government Camp. A similar story as you head down south. This is I-5 at Nyberg. Very important that you give yourself a little bit of extra time this morning, and the view from the top of the St. John's Bridge. This is Highway 30. Those lights very important this morning. Now, a reminder for those of you who ride TriMet, there is going to be a disruption to the blue and red lines. This is on Saturday and Sunday. This is between the Galleria stop and the Providence Park stop. There will be shuttle buses running there. You can also walk. It's just less than half a mile. Drew?
All right, thank you, Ashley. Let's get to our top story here at 6 o'clock. For the second morning in a row, students are expected to protest outside St. Helens High School after a current and former teacher were both charged this week with sexually abusing students. Thomas Schultz joins us live from the high school right now. So, Thomas, what's the latest?
Yeah, Drew, well, we just got some big news that this afternoon the school board is going to discuss putting Superintendent Scott Stockwell on paid administrative leave. Now, this comes as students are planning yet another protest right here at 8:30 this morning. That's the second day in a row that protests after these sexual abuse allegations are going to be taking place. Now, some students and parents called on Thursday for school board leaders and the superintendent to resign, accusing them of not doing enough to protect students. Allegations of sexual abuse date back almost a decade, all the way to 2015, and both teachers accused of abuse were in court this week. Choir teacher Eric Stearns was still teaching at the high school until he was arrested on Tuesday. At a school board meeting this week, board members acknowledged they knew Stearns was being investigated by police while he was still working at the high school. And students say these allegations are alarming, but they're not shocking.
We've always had creepy people hired to our school, but this time, all the news channels come for this one. But it's happened like through elementary school, middle school, and now high school.
So seemingly, according to students, a pervasive issue here at St. Helens. And now, once again, school is going to be closed today. Now, that superintendent, they're going to talk about putting him on paid administrative leave. About 15 minutes before they do that, school board members are also going to discuss the dismissal or discipline of Eric Stearns, that choir teacher who, as of right now, is still employed by the district. Drew?
Lots of new information, Thomas. We'll check back in with you coming up at 6:30. We also want to let our viewers know that our team at The Story is looking to talk to people who live in St. Helens who may have even more information about all of this. So if that's you, you can send an email to thestory@kgw.com, or you can also call and leave a voicemail. The number for that is 503-226-5090. Meanwhile, people living near Columbia Park in North Portland are speaking out after a shootout and street takeover in their neighborhood. They say they want city leaders to invest in the area to make it safer. This all comes after several homes and cars were hit by gunfire last month on October 15th. Investigators say a gathering at Columbia Park that night ended with at least 50 rounds fired.
I have a 2-year-old son that I play with in the park often, and the shooting actually happened right next to the playground. So it's an issue that's near and dear to all of our hearts.
There was another street takeover that happened earlier this month along North Lombard Street. Police say no one was hurt during that takeover, but they did arrest 2 people. A Clackamas County judge issued a controversial ruling that makes Oswego Lake open to the public. This issue began 17 years ago when one of the plaintiffs in the case moved to Lake Oswego and found out that there was no public access to the lake. Here's KGW's Alma McCarty with more.
You know, maybe I was naive in the beginning and just thought that, it's a public lake. We're at a public park and, there should be public access. So it seemed pretty kind of open and shut.
But as Todd Prager learned, it was anything but, as his push for access became a years-long legal fight with the city of Lake Oswego and the Lake Oswego Corporation.
It was just really important that the community understood that this is a public lake. There should be public access. There's rights to access. And of course, it's just such an Oregon thing that we have access to natural resources. It seemed like a natural issue.
And this week, a Clackamas County judge sided with him, declaring that an ordinance banning public access to the lake through city-owned parks is illegal and ordering the city to allow it here, Lower Millennium Plaza.
It's like 9 to 12 feet of this portion of the stairs that is not within the railroad easement, and then that continues. This is all part of the property here.
According to the judge, both Sunderleaf Plaza and Headley Walkway, separate parks on either side of this plaza, would still be restricted for now. Longtime residents living on the lake have never doubted its beauty or appeal.
You would think after 36 years we'd be used to it and bored with it, but no, it's just beautiful. We're very fortunate.
But Bill Newman says he's quite concerned about opening it up to the public. His main issues, water safety and water quality.
It's the upkeep on the lake that we've paid over the 36 years we've been on the water. In the beginning, it was cheap. It was $400 a year, but now it's $2,000, I think. And it's for water quality and so forth. And these people aren't helping us share that cost.
A spokesperson for the city of Lake Oswego told us they're reviewing the judge's opinion. Prager says he's looking forward to working with the city.
Just a win-win for everybody and the community and the state as a whole. We think we can achieve that.
Alma McCarty, KGW News.
All right, before we take another look at today's forecast, how about a look at the Blazers' brand new City Edition uniform? So the Blazers are going to debut this brand new look on Sunday. That's their next game. These City Edition uniforms are black. They have Rip City across the chest in white plaid letters. There's also a silhouette of Mount Hood on the shorts, and PNW is spelled out on the belt buckle. You can buy these new look uniforms, by the way, through the Rip City Clothing website. Blazers having a good week, Chris. They had those back-to-back wins against the Minnesota Timberwolves, convincing wins.
The youth movement is on and rocking it. Now, we'll bring Drew out of retirement. Maybe we'll have something, right? Let's get you out the door from our Wells Fargo Sky Camera. Fog is the story this morning in downtown Portland. We are blanketed with that in a good chunk of the area right now. 43 in downtown. Check out the visibility right now. Hillsborough and Aurora, both down to a quarter-mile visibility. It's not bad everywhere, but where the sky has cleared overhead, that has set the stage for areas of dense fog this morning. So be on the lookout for that, of course. Futurecast shows the clouds lifting, the fog lifting, and we do have at least one mostly dry day in our 7-day forecast. I'll show you the 7-day coming up in a second, but today we should clear things out. There is the outside chance of a sprinkle at the coast. I can't completely say that one or two of those won't work their way into the valley, but the overall trend today is for drying and even some sun breaks. Futurecast this afternoon has high temperatures in the Willamette Valley inching into the upper 40s to about 50 or so from Longview south of Corvallis, upper 40s out across the Columbia Basin. Bend gets up to about 40 degrees today, so a coolish day for sure. Let's get into the weekend. Rain redevelops on Saturday. It turns fairly steady and heavy Saturday evening and overnight into Sunday. Temperatures stay in the 40s on Saturday. We warm into the 50s on Sunday. And on the back side of this storm system, snow levels will come dropping down in the Cascades as well. So here's Futurecast during the day tomorrow. We probably start dry, but rain rolls in late morning or early afternoon. And then from basically noon Saturday through all of Sunday and into early Monday, it's going to be a wet go of it. In fact, Futurecast likes the idea of easily topping an inch of rain up and down the I-5 corridor for our weekend forecast. Our 7-day then is, as I mentioned, kind of today's the one dry day. We thought, by the way, next week that we were going to have a run of dry weather Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. That's off the table, and now it looks like that part of our forecast is also turning quite wet. I'll walk you through that and also talk about the big Cascade snow possible this weekend coming up in just a few minutes. Drew?